rolling.
Hello, I'm James from Condor Online, and today we are going to be talking about mental health with our today's guest, Chase Johnston Lynch. How are you?
Hey, James. It's great to be on the other side of the table here. Or a little bit weird, actually.
It is a bit weird. So, on our mental health week, we've been talking about everyone's different experiences and stories, and today Chase has come here to tell us about his story with mental health. So, yeah, what do you do to start off at Condor Online?
What do you mean, what I do at Condor Online?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much, I'm like the producer of the Condor Online platform here at Big Condor Academy. And we're basically have always wanted to do programming as a kid and stuff, so this has been like kind of a dream come true. So I kind of like produce the programs that we have here on the channel. So we have like about 13 to 15 shows that we produce a week. And this special topic series is something new for us that we've been focusing on a special topic and bringing people in. And it's another way of engaging with our audience and everything. So we're always doing new ideas, and that's basically what I am. I'm an ideas man. I'm a producer here at Condor.
Well, that's very interesting to hear about. So, now we're going to get on to the topic of mental health. So, we spoke about your own personal experience with mental health and how you coped with it. So, would you like to tell our viewers on how you did do this?
Well, I mean, that's a deep dive. You know, I mean, like, 'cause it goes way back. I mean, pretty much what I was saying to you in the show notes is that as a kid, I always had mental health concerns, but I come from a generation where not like today, where people had actually diagnosed it. So what was going on back then is that autism and mental health were kind of like dirty words. You know, it's kind of like, oh, somebody got a mental health problem, and you know, wear the white coats. It was like that, and so people can have something going on for them, but nobody knew the different diagnoses at the time. So I was pretty much like self-mute.
Yeah.
Which means that I didn't talk much, you know, and I was isolated, you know, and what happens is that when you are not talkative or loud or anything like that, then what people tend to do is ignore it, you know, or just leave him alone, he's fine, you know, and everything. And you know, my cousin said to me once is that like somebody tried to say anything about, you know, you, that like, you know, everybody be on it, you know, so I was well protected, but ignored.
Yeah. That must have affected you really much, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because it was very isolating, you know, because where people were trying to be supportive, it's not. And so, but it's something like you go through as a child where it's like, you know, you got other various things happening, but, you know, the name calling was very strong and negative. So, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then I had to just kind of, like, develop my own coping strategies to get out of it and everything. And so, like, when I was about 15, actually, and I don't recommend this at home, but actually, my mom comes home, and I'm sitting in front of the TV, as I usually do, right? You know, and my mom's like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Get the hell out, right? I saw this flyer in the elevator, right? It's for an after-school club. It's only right up the street. Get the hell out and go up there. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I want to go. Outside? What are you kidding me? And I'm walking like the 2 blocks up the street crying, right? And everything. And, you know, because it was like, don't come home until you join that club.
So she was like trying to push out your comfort zone.
It was like a mother bird pushing the kid out of the tree.
Oh.
You'll fly, I'm sure, you know, as I lift up the street. But actually, it did turn into the best thing ever because I met my best friends that I still had for life, meaning to this day. And that's was kind of like, to me, was like the eye-opening piece. It's like you have to, I don't know, maybe you have to be forced into a situation, but communication with another person that had the same interests, where, you know, that won't just let you not talk,
Yeah.
right? So you need to talkative friends that like help pull you out of it. And basically, in him pulling me out of that, it pulled me more into more normal social interactions with people.
Yeah.
And so finally, the end of that is like me now having a son who is at the same age, right? I'm looking for that moment where I can push him out of the tree. And like, go, 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 you know, because he's at the same state I was. And that's, it reminds me a lot of how I was growing up by looking at my own son. And that's what I thought was an important topic about this, is that mental health could be a legacy issue, you know, when you're passing things down and everything. And now that they have identified the autistic spectrum, what they didn't do then, I can say, oh, well, yes, I definitely have dyspraxia, I definitely have Asperger's, I definitely have depression, I have all of that stuff. So, but I don't have to say, oh, I don't have to feel bad about having those things. It's kind of like, now you have identified it, thank you.
Yeah, so you experienced your fair share of calling and labelling by other, was it children or adults or mixture?
It's a mixture, because like my issue is around teachers. I mean, I became a teacher, and it's that like the teachers, granted they have a hard job to do for little money, whatever, but they also don't suffer fools lightly. And when I say suffer fools, I mean to them, look, Mr. Williams or Mr. Jones or whatever, you know what I mean? You're causing me problems and everything, and then they'll start the name calling from there. And then the other kids will pick up on those names. Hey, here comes Mr. Fidget. And then you're like, oh, I'm Mr. Fidget now, so I'll fidget all the time just for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just, it's terrible. And it's a crying shame that it still goes on today.
So how did you feel about all of that when it was happening?
For me, in the middle of my, whatever was going on for me, because I don't want to call it psychosis, but in the middle of my situation of anxiety at the time, it was like, I was in the fishbowl.
Yeah.
I was just like, because self-mutism, you gotta understand, like, it's not like you're quiet because you're quiet. You're quiet because there's a lot of noise in your head.
Yeah.
There's a lot of voices in your head. There's a lot of people talking to you, a lot of memories, a lot of situations, and you have too much to focus on, but your outer shell is like this.
Yeah.
But inside it's like, it's a party. It's a party going on in my head. What the hell is happening? You know what I mean?
So how would you help someone, like, identify that someone has self-mutism and how to help them if needed be?
It's the determination, right? So adults don't have that kind of determination. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. What's great about kids, right, is that there's no illusions, right? So there are those popular kids, there are those bully kids, right? The kids who are always like, I want to find someone less than and I'm going to make fun of you, right?
Yeah.
But then there are those nerdy kids. Those are the ones who are like, hey man, I'm Bob. And then, oh right, so you fidget sometimes, you know what I mean? But I noticed that you draw. I draw too. And then the calmness of the noise settles.
Yeah.
Because that kid so much wants a friend that they're willing to be friends with you just because they know nobody else wants to be friends with you.
Yeah.
So by their determination to communicate, they don't even know it, but they are actually breaking through your wall and stuff and allowing you to come out and speak. As opposed to telling you, speak you, what do you got to say? That doesn't work. Right? That's just kind of like hitting a hammer against a wall. Boom, 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 it doesn't work. Right? But that kind of gentle determination of like, I just want to communicate with you, right? And everything, and me and you could be friends.
Yeah.
You don't know how powerful that is for that one kid. Because self-mutism is not a disease. It's not like something that you can control with a pill. It's something that people just have to be willing to, break through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to use the word sacrifice. I almost use that one, but just willing and determined to break through.
Yeah, well, I think everyone should be determined to be friends with everyone and accept everyone in this world, because you don't know what's going on with people, do you?
No, exactly, and the word acceptance is a good one because I don't know. I was talking on another show I think yesterday where I was talking about it's like those nerds, and I say nerds in a proud way actually, but it's those people of difference that they are so different that they can recognize each other and not be ashamed or not be attacking of like the fact that you got blue hair. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that's really cool. I don't have the guts to dye my hair blue. You know what I mean? And you know, it's those kind of things that you just accept that somebody's got a nervous tick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody stutters. I was a huge stutterer.
I
Oh
was-
my God, I was serious. I couldn't talk for days, but my brain was so smart that the teachers were like, you know, but no, they couldn't get me. But I had one teacher in college who actually got me to actually speak in what I would say in a regular way now. I didn't talk like this as a kid, and she was like, I was like Elijah Doolittle, you know, in that My Fair Lady, cause like she would do this thing with a nail in a can, and she would every time I stuttered, she would throw a nail in a can, you know, and it was like that it became so annoying to hear my own stutter, you know, and it helped me stop, but so I still do it from time to time, but most of the time I'm hearing that now,
Yeah.
and I'm speaking very clearly.
That actually reminds me of the episode in, I think it was Educating Yorkshire. And
Oh, yeah.
a boy had a stutter and the teacher gave him headphones and he talked in front of the whole school for the first time.
Yeah.
Now he's like a public speaker, which is really
Exactly.
inspiring, I think.
Yeah, exactly. You have to find what works for everyone individually, you know, to help them with their coping mechanisms, like I said. But that's what I mean. Like these things, you know, will follow us through our life, but we need someone to kind of like, you know, be willing to do those kind of things, you know, to try something different, and understand that it can be altered and it can change.
So, talking about the spectrum,
Mm.
how old was you when you thought you'd be on the spectrum or figured out that you were on the spectrum?
Well, I mean, like, because I didn't know at the time that I was on the spectrum because it wasn't called that. I can only check my timeline through my son's timeline because in that fashion. So it's like he went through different stages to get to where he is now because he was very talkative as a young lad. You know what I mean? So it was kind of weird and different that he moved into the self-mutism as a stage when he was like around 12. Yeah. So it hasn't really been long, and everything. So here it was this like sparkly, you know, kid, and you know, not seeing anything. So I think like even though I was told I was self-muted, so like family members told me that I'm very quiet and very to myself and all of that. You know, I probably had those stages too of communication because you're comfortable in your own family.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. You're comfortable in your own family, but when you're outside of that environment, you take on different roles and feelings towards yourself because of the name calling and labeling, like I was saying. You know, so I can only identify really when I came out of it, which was when I was 16. You know, but before 16, I was in it.
Yeah. So was you ever confused about why you felt that way?
I mean, I just thought I deserved it. I mean, who doesn't think that? I mean, I think that's the whole issue around mental health. And the breakdown of it is that you're thinking that it's your fault.
Yeah.
Right? You're thinking that like, oh, okay. And then when other people tell you that you're crazy or stupid or weird, then you're like, yeah, it definitely is my fault. You know? So yeah, I think that's a bad thing in that aspect. You know, the name calling thing. But I don't know how it came out of it. I think, like I just said, I think coming out of it is really just in trust and friends, and you don't need a lot of friends. You only need one or two and stuff. If you have 4 or 5, it's great.
Yeah.
But you only need one or two and stuff, and it's kind of like that term of having your back.
Yeah.
Right. And that situation where so-called friends didn't have my back. And I think that's what happens like with my son. It's like you'll remember all the pain, and it'll be strong in your memory that it permeates your cells and it forces you to act the way you do.
Yeah.
But you don't remember the good times just as much.
Yeah, true. So before you mentioned that your mum got you to go to a youth club, did they support you around that aspect of feeling of hatred and?
Yeah, because see, like what it is that youth clubs, they're great. When you have counselors that are concerned about everyone on an individual level and everything. And I think like growing up, like my father wasn't in my life, you know what I mean, and I had an older brother and stuff. But I think I was that kind of kid who was always looking for father figures.
Yeah.
So at my youth club, there was a guy, Bernard Keller, who took me under his wing. And to me, that was a big thing because, one, I wanted a dad so bad, but he also noticed the intelligence that I had in my head and forced it out of me in an aggressive, fun way, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to prove you wrong, sir. That kind of. But then he knew, by me trying to prove him wrong, built my confidence in myself and what I believed, and it helped me get to college and, get to that debate team and all of that other kind of stuff because, I learned anger controlled my situation.
Yeah.
I mean, not angry like being an angry kid, but I needed that anger was fuel, and it just helped me focus. Anger became a focus for whatever was going on for me. It didn't make me mute at all.
That must have really affected your mental health, having all that anger built inside of you.
That's a good question. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, like I just said, growing up without my dad in my life, my dad only shows up for Christmas, or something like that. But I had a lot of anger, but I didn't have a way of expressing it. So yeah, you're right. It was clouded, but he helped me focus it into communication, intelligence, debate, and I focused my anger into words.
Yeah.
And that helped me as a stutterer, I guess, as well.
Yeah, so you looked up to him as like a father figure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. He definitely was my father figure, and I definitely couldn't get by in that youth club without him, without my best friend, Kev, and everything like that. It was just like, I needed those elements to really pull me out of my mental health situation.
Yeah, so you're going to have a little bit of an attachment while you were there.
I did. But I think what was great is that at some point you gotta let go. So out of all those kids in that group, I was the only one that went off to college.
Yeah.
And that was Miss Keller pushing me in my intelligence level, and it's like, you don't belong here, right? In the hood, whatever. You belong in college.
Yeah.
And stuff. You need to do something with that brain of yours. And everything, and now that the brain was focused, it was like, he kind of set me on the path, so it's a good thing.
So if you could say anything to him right now,
what
would you say?
Why you added the question? Because that hits me right here, man. I appreciate everything that Ms. Keller has done for me. I wouldn't nowhere near be here. I don't know where I'd be, without someone believing in me. And I think, thanks for him believing in me. It helps me believe in other people. As a teacher, I became a teacher. I became a motivator. Became an inspiring role model. And it's all because this one man who, took this kid who didn't talk to anybody, and not push him out of a tree, but really gave him something to do. You know what I mean? With a film. So yeah.
So it's safe to say he really inspired you.
Yeah. Move on before I cry. That's not a pretty sight.
You mentioned that you never got diagnosed.
Yeah.
So how has this affected you and other people?
Oh, definitely. Thankfully, the coping mechanism of becoming my own person and choosing my own path, so to speak, was a good thing. But it turned into a situation where I think without the diagnosis, I had no clue as to why I do the things I do, why I think the way I think, and I really do feel that it affects relationships and everything. But thankfully, I was able to create a job for myself, and utilizing that as like superpowers.
Yeah.
Because I gotta tell you, when you have all those compartments in your head and those neurons fighting and photographic memory and all of that, you're able to use that. Not as gambling, but I was able to use that as a skill set. And moving into the industry I moved into, because I used to do music videos and stuff like that. I had all those calculating abilities and creative skills and all of that, so it worked for me. When it came here to England, those things weren't of use. So I think the mental health depression kind of like slowly slipped in over the years, and I had some dark periods for the past like 5 years, and wouldn't tell anybody, because kind of like that's what affected me about Sean Liddell's interview. Because being a leader, it's hard to like look for support from the people under you or with you or whatever. So I slipped a lot into that over the past years, to be honest with you. If this is all about honesty. And only in the past 6 months, really, can I actually look at it like if I'm the Cruz in a cave, that I'm coming out of my depression cave.
Yeah.
That I could see the light, but I wouldn't want to really say I'm outside.
Yeah.
If you get me, right? But I was really back there in the dark for a good long while in the past couple of years. And nobody would know it, because I always had that spiritual mask, that smile on my face all the time. Hey man, you're not shy, you're not crazy, what's going on? This is funny, isn't he? And I'm like, what am I, a clown? I'm more like Pagliacci, that laughing clown, right? You don't know me inside.
So, what coping mechanisms did you use to help you?
Humor, just like I just did just now. I'm a laughing clown, you know what I mean, man? I didn't know what it was, to be honest with you, was just like, kind of like, depression really focuses on a person who is isolated and alone. And thankfully, I was never alone being here. So I always had somewhere to go, and I always had people to talk to, and that was what was key. But there was times where I would be like, yeah, I'm not made for this world, and everything. That's just being straight up honest and stuff. But I will say that, just like in this past year, coming here to Condor actually has been a saving grace, because I had somewhere to go. But truly, I didn't want to be here. I'd be like, I'd rather be in the house in my underwear, next to the couch watching TV like I was as a kid. You know what I mean? Why the fuck? Excuse me, but why? But thankfully, I think that's the key. I had somewhere to go every day, and if I didn't go, I wouldn't say the house will fall down. But sometimes you have to put that in your head. Oh, if I'm not there, the house fall down. So I guess I gotta be there.
Okay, so we've been broadcasting mental health for 2 weeks now. We at Condor want you all to know that we all do care, and we want you to speak out, and we are here for you. We know that it's not a day or a week, and it might not pass for a long time, but this topic has been heartwarming for all of us here to hear everyone's stories, and we have enjoyed talking about the topic and enjoyed talking about mental health and everyone else's stories as well. So on our next special topic series we will be talking about climate change. So
climate change.
So keep a lookout for that. So Chase, before we go, is there anything you would like to say to our viewers?
Yeah, first of all, what an excellent interview there, James. I mean, thank you very much for that. But also, too, it's very important the message is to break the stigma. The message is to talk to someone. The message is to also listen to someone. So, I mean, the main thing is whatever side of the spectrum you're on, love that, is that, like, this is what it's all about. These are supposed to incite conversations, and hopefully you can always communicate on the chat below as well. But I want to just thank Amy once again for stepping in fantastically and trying to make me cry.
Well, we all love each other here at Big Condor, that's for sure.
That is for sure.
So, what are your handles for people to get in touch with you?
Hey man, I'm one of those people who don't have the one handle.
Name all your handles.
Hey man, you know what? You can always find me on Condor Online, Two Shadows, Proud Daddy on Twitter, so you could always find me. DM me, especially if you want to come on the show. I do a community podcast every Thursday, and this won't be the last time you see me, of course not. But and 3 more days for Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yeah, 3 more days. So if you do want to get involved, be sure to contact us and we shall get you on the show. So, thanks for watching. If you want to comment on it, please feel free to comment on the chat below, and Chase will be behind.
Oh, you didn't say your social media handles.
On my social media. So my social media handles on everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is Real JJ Music. Catch me there because I'm an artist here, so you won't want to miss that one.
Exactly.
So, thanks for watching. I hope you have a brilliant rest of the day, and we are out.